not just any garbage. See, we're going to search the trash of a famous celebrity. You know, see what they throw away.
We'll also find out what scientists learned from some really old trash left by people who lived almost 1,000 years ago.
Warning, this show may be too gross for older people. This is ZiNj-TV.
People have been throwing things away for thousands of years. A long time ago, it wasn't too much of a problem. When trash got, well, too trashy, you just moved or swept it into the bushes. But now we have tons of trash and have to spend a lot of money disposing of it. Your family probably pays hundreds of dollars a year to have your trash hauled away. Did you know that the things in your trash can tell a lot about you? Like, if the trash in your room was full of candy wrappers, your mom wouldn't have any trouble figuring out why you weren't hungry at dinner. Today on ZiNj-TV, we'll take a look at a lot of trash and learn a whole lot about ourselves and other people. Isaac and Taylor gave this to me, so I'm going to take it to the experts to see if they can find out whose it is or even what this person was like.
Hey, Jesse, what do you got?
Just some trash.
Just set it down right here and we'll see what we can do.
Have fun.
This looks serious.
Give me the mask. Give me the gloves.
I think I'll be the supervisor.
Gloves.
Do not try this without prior permission. Are we ready yet?
Gloves ready. Masks.
Make sure it covers your entire nose and mouth. Lab coats. Garbage. Exhibit A.
Paper bag. They must have been shopping.
It looks like it was just recently about
A receipt.
maybe
Looks like
last
they're very well read here.
They have been spending.
Oh.
They have been spending money. I have found a receipt.
Looks like it's fresh. A lot of grease on it.
Okay. Butter.
Butter. Milk. They must have been
What do you
shopping.
think of their health?
Soda pop. Wonder what kind.
A lemon.
This be a sour person.
Yes. Yeah. A fortune. Use your natural talents to obtain more. Oh. Oh, I've seen that.
I've seen that. No,
Probably tape enough to like tape and stuff.
I want another bookworm.
Ah, this is an indication that it's a young person, probably still in school.
They probably had these cups for a party.
Look, I found something. It must be a woman. Lipstick.
Hey, look, a fork, and it has lipstick on it.
Wait, you missed something.
Look at it. Come on it. It's Jessica Sanchez.
Jessica!
Remember, don't do this if you don't have the person's permission. It's illegal. Nuclear waste is one dangerous kind of trash to have around. So we asked some kids what they would do with nuclear waste.
ZiNj wants to know, what would you do with nuclear waste?
Get rid of it
How would you get rid of it?
by putting it someplace safe where nobody will get it.
ZiNj wants to know, what would you do with nuclear waste?
I'll dispose of it.
To be truthfully, I don't know.
You don't know? If you had it, how would you dispose of it?
I don't know. I don't even think about it.
What would you do with nuclear waste?
Find a way to destroy it. I would put it in nuclear safe waste barrels and put them in a nuclear safe vault and keep them locked up there.
I'd send it to another planet.
3, 2, 1, 0. Missile away.
shiny and round. Nickels are also round. Dollars are not round. Dollars are rectangles. What can I buy with 2 rectangles?
A bus ride.
You're right. Good job, Dream.
When you talk with your child, you build vocabulary, and learning starts long before school does. For more tips, go to bornlearning.org.
Forget about those abs and glutes. It's your eyes people notice. You need the eye gym. Just slip it on, and the eye gym does the rest.
Taking care of your eyes is no joke. In fact, 1 in 3 Americans over 40 has a vision problem. An eye exam can spot the early signs of vision-threatening conditions like glaucoma and other serious health problems like diabetes and high blood pressure. Do not fool with your eyes. If you're over 40, remember, an eye doctor can see things you can't. A public service message from the Vision Council of America and AARP.
As a pro football player, I'm always looking out for risks. But as a father, it's difficult to protect my kids from dangers I can't see. Meningitis is an invisible threat that can cause severe brain damage and even death. There are many forms of it, but you won't see any of them coming. I know. My son had meningitis as a baby. So how can you stop what you can't see? One thing you can do is have your child immunized. If you're having a baby or have a child under 2, contact your healthcare provider for more information about vaccinating your child against meningitis.
You know, it's a really good thing we have places to put our garbage, like landfills and dumps. But, you know, if we weren't able to take our garbage out, it would become a really big mess. Just ask Sarah, Cynthia, Sylvia, Stout.
Sarah, Cynthia, Sylvia, Stout would not take the garbage out.
She'd scour the pots and scrape the pans, candy the yams and spice the hounds.
And though her daddy would scream us out, she simply would not take the garbage out.
And so it piled up to the ceiling.
Coffee grinds, potato peelings, brown bananas, rotten peas, chunks of sour cottage cheese. It filled the can, it covered the floor, it cracked the window and blocked the door with bacon rinds
and chicken bones, drippy ends of ice cream cones,
prune pits, peach pits, orange peels,
floppy clumps of cold oatmeal, pizza crust and withered greens, salty beans and tangerines, crusts of blackbird buttered toast,
fiercely bits of beefy roast.
Garbage rolled on down the hall, it raised to the roof, it broke the wall.
Greasy napkins, cookie crumbs, globs of gooey bubble gum, cellophane from green bologna, rubber, blueberry macaroni, peanut butter,
caked and dried curdled milk and crust of pie, melody melons, dried up mustard, eggshell mixed with lemon custard, cold French fries and rancid meat, yellow lumps of cream of wheat.
At last the garbage reached so high that it finally touched the sky. And all the neighbors moved away,
and none of her friends would come to play. And finally Sarah, Cynthia, Stout said, okay, I'll take the garbage out! But then, of course, it was too late. The garbage reached across the strait from New York to the Golden Gate. And there in garbage she'd hate. Poor Sarah met an awful fate. That I cannot now relate because the hour is much too late. But children, remember Sarah Stout and always take the garbage out!
Sarah Stout sure hated garbage, but archaeologists love it. If they can find where ancient people left their trash, then that's where they're going to excavate. Why? Well, because it's the best way of finding information on what the people really did. You know, like the tools they used, the things they ate, the animals they used, and even how often they threw out the trash. They call these garbage dumps middens. One archaeologist, James O'Connell, loves middens.
So what the heck does garbage and archaeology have in common?
Garbage is in a sense, it's the meat and potatoes of archaeology. It's the basic evidence that archaeologists use to reconstruct the past, to where the people that you want to know about are no longer around and didn't read anything, didn't leave behind a book or a document. Their garbage is the only evidence that you have of what their life was like.
What exactly do you see in garbage that's thousands of years old?
What I see in the garbage of thousands of years ago depends a lot on the conditions of deposition. That is the environment, if you will, in which the stuff is dropped. Most circumstances, however, only really durable, non-organic things like stone or some kinds of bone and pottery is likely to be preserved. Let's take an example here. Okay, here's a tray full of different kinds of stone artifacts. Now, some of them are pretty recognizably distinct pieces, right? That's either an arrowhead or a drill. The stone tools give you a sense of technology as well. They give you a sense of what people are doing for a living. So, for example, if we find an arrowhead, it's a reasonable inference that they're involved in hunting or warfare or both.
So, in what other ways does garbage help you find out about people and their culture?
Okay. Let's pull another tray out here. Now, if we dig let's say we're involved in looking at, Fremont's another good example. We know they have a pretty well-developed pottery industry. Now, let's take a look at one of these sherds, because it's a pretty neat one. For simple farmers, these are pretty sophisticated folks. Look at how thin that potsherd is and how well fired it is. And we don't really get complete pots very often, but that gives you a clue to the fact that the people who made it, its overall, its thinness, the degree of preparation and the temper and so on, and the hardness with which it's fired, gives you a clue to their sophistication as potters. These are very sophisticated folks. Okay, let's look over here at a couple of other kinds of things. We've talked a bit about, actually a lot about artifacts, and these are things that are found in archaeological sites. They're not made by people, but they can tell you a lot about the habitat or the environment in which people are living. And these are little snail shells. They're probably not used as food. They're probably the shells of snails that lived in the site. So if you can identify these snails to species and know something about the habitats in which they live today, you can tell something about the habitat at the time the site was occupied.
Okay, so I guess that all these ancient artifacts and everything are really a gold mine.
Absolutely. They are, as we said at the top of this discussion. They're the basic set of evidence, the basic set of data that archaeologists use to learn as a source of information about ancient societies. People don't realize that when they're dumping stuff out, having the garbage collected every Monday or whatever it is, they're creating a record of their behavior that is directly understandable by conventional archaeological methods. And that's those same practices of throwing away garbage in an organized way in the past creates a comparably organized record, knowable record of human behavior in the old days, when we used to be prehistoric.
What the heck is a midden? A type of glove, B, a young female cat, or C, a pile of ancient trash? Well, if you pick C, you're right.
Hello, I'm Jimmy Carter. Every 5 seconds, someone in our world goes blind. And in the next 15 years, the number of blind people could double to 75 million. Yet 80% of blindness is preventable. Lions clubs in your community are leading the fight against blindness through campaign Sight First 2, which aims to save the vision of 37 million people. As a Lion, I urge you to support your local Lions Club. Vision improves lives. Save sight through campaign Sight First 2.
Every day, computers help our lives and businesses run smoothly. And every day, they're potential targets. Viruses, spyware, and scams are relentlessly being updated, making it easier for hackers and thieves to steal information and control your computer. Protect yourself. Get in the habit of keeping your cybersecurity up to date. Learn how at StaySafeOnline.org today.
Garbage doesn't always make it to the trash can or the dump. In fact, some people still think we're in the prehistoric times and throw their garbage on the ground. But we found some kids who are trying to change all that.
Can I get another one? I need a left.
Please.
We are cleaning up the graffiti and we are cleaning up all the litter.
See, that's how you do it.
Joshua?
Anybody who's not painting, get their video here.
Graffiti is garbage because it's ugly, it's not wanted, it causes
causes commotion among the neighbors, and it's something that we can pick up if we have the materials.
Oh, I thought that was supposed to be Hawaii. Spaced off for a minute, I was like...
We're hoping it matches the color of what's on the wall.
I think graffiti's garbage because gang members or other people think they can just put it on walls or do whatever they want with it, and they kind of use it in the way that it really shouldn't be used.
And we are painting up all the graffiti so that when the gang members come again, they might get the message that, well, they're just going to keep cleaning it up. Let's go tag somewhere else.
You can come over here. Yeah.
Make sure you get all those runs off.
Right here?
And if they keep tagging somewhere else, we might just go there and clean it up until they might just finally stop deciding to tag.
The best time to take graffiti off is in summertime, mostly, because it's not as cold. It's also good in the winter time too, because then if you keep waiting and waiting, they'll just keep getting more and more.
I got paint again!
Other kids can get into this environmental thing by writing to the Recycling Conservatory of the United States. They can just go up and pick litter out of their yard or other people's yards or around the neighborhood, or start a recycling program in their school, make up an environmental club like COPE.
When you do it, it feels good afterwards because you make other people feel good too for stuff along.
Trash isn't just stuff we leave at the dump either. It can be junk we leave in the air, like smog. Now, most of this kind of trash comes from cars and trucks, and some of it comes from factories and power plants. But we found one company that's trying to clean up its act.
One thing they did was to buy new furnaces to melt iron ore and the other materials to make steel. These furnaces are called QBOP, or oxygen process furnaces. The smokestacks from the old furnaces, or open earth furnaces, let a lot of pollution escape into the air, but now they're no longer used. Another thing they did was to use a sulfur removal system. You see, when they burn coal to make steel, a harmful gas called sulfur dioxide is released into the air. The sulfur removal system removes about 5 tons of sulfur each day and keeps it from polluting the skies. The sulfur is then converted from a gas to a solid, in keeping our air clean. In another part of the steel plant, they are also using other equipment to make these smoky stacks into clean-burning, non-smoking smokestacks. Water is used in the steel-making process, but after it's used, there is a lot of ammonia left in the water. In other words, the water is polluted. To clean it, they have a wastewater treatment plant. That's a place where they clean up the water. First, the polluted water is put in a big tank with actual microorganisms, or bugs. Then these tiny bugs convert the wastewater into harmless nitrogen and water. And as a result, we have fresher air and cleaner water. Some people really know how to recycle, and what they do with it becomes really valuable, because one man's trash is another man's treasure. Watch what artist Dennis Smith does with junk.
I do it first and foremost for fun because I love to make the different shapes. But of course, since I have a family and I have to have a job, it's important for me to make them so that I can sell them. When I go to a garbage place, like a junkyard, looking for garbage, I'm looking for shapes and forms that are exciting to me. When I grew up, there was a farm next door, and Owen Beck had his machinery sitting next to the fence, and we used to always climb over the fence and play on the hay rakes and play on all of the different pieces of farm machinery. And our house was in the middle of an apple orchard, and being in the middle of an orchard with all of those trees around you and with all of those pieces of farm machinery, I think that subconsciously in my mind, all of those shapes of spaces, like the kinds of spaces that happen in my machines, were kind of embedded in my memory. But I know where all the different junkyards are. I'll go up to a place, there's a scrap metal place up by Beck Street in Salt Lake, north of the Capitol, over there by where the refineries are. And they specialize in stainless steel. And so I go there when I want stainless steel shapes. Pieces like these shapes right here, I got these in the Midwest, back in Ohio, at an antique store. There was a place that had a whole bunch of brackets for shelves. And in fact, I've got all of those piled here. I got those that last summer. And look at all those shapes that I got at this one antique store. You know, for about $20, I got all of these fantastic shapes that I'll use sometime in different pieces. I don't know how. Or like with this piece here, this piece has gone too far. It's too Baroque. It's too over-cluttered. What I'm probably going to end up doing with this piece is chopping it apart and making, this might end up as 3 or 4 different pieces.
Next on ZiNj-TV, we'll find out what biodegradable is.
Horseradish. Is that for horses? Remember me, Mr. Lobster? From last Tuesday? Banana. 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 Here comes the rain. We need a hat. And why do we need a hat?
To stay dry.
That's right.
When you talk with your child, you build vocabulary, and learning starts long before school does. For more tips, go to bornlearning.org.
Jenny dear! Don't forget my dress for the fashion show! We want to look my best now! Jenny, we started our book report. Here's the cover.
Yeah, now all we need is a beginning,
a middle,
and an end.
Jenny!
Hi, honey. Dad called and he said...
Are you feeling blue? What's wrong with being blue?
Well, where should I start?
If you're a teen dealing with stress, there's help. Visit the Will Rogers Institute website for a free booklet about teen stress and how you can de-stress your life.
Right.
For your free booklet on teen stress, visit the Will Rogers Institute website at wrinstitute.org or call toll-free 877-957-7575.
How do you de-stress your life? Like this.
Recycling is a great way to save the planet. So what is biodegradable? Potato peels, leftover meatloaf, or anything that comes from plants or animals? If something is biodegradable, it means that it will decay and eventually return to the earth. But what about other things like plastic or glass? We asked an expert, and this is what he said.
When we throw things away and they're buried in landfills, how long do they take for them to biodegrade?
Well, a very long time. When we dug into landfills where garbage had been buried for 20 or 30 or 40 years, and when the landfills had been clean and sanitary and safe, we found that newspapers could last and look just like this after 20 or 30 or even 40 years.
What do you do as a professional?
Well, Brent, I sort garbage.
Why do you examine garbage?
Because I'm an archaeologist. And you see, archaeologists learn about ancient societies by sorting through and analyzing ancient garbage, old garbage. And what we're doing is we're looking at fresh garbage to see what we can learn about our own society. If you examine garbage, you'll find that about half of the aluminum cans aren't recycled. And, you know, less than half of newspapers are recycled, and even less than half of phone books are recycled. We find these in garbage, and we can use them to tell people, hey, you can improve by recycling more.
Is recycling really that important?
Yes, Brent, recycling is very important. And it's especially important, you see, because right now we throw away just literally millions of tons of garbage. And the best and easiest way to cut down on the amount of garbage we throw out is to recycle. We can cut our garbage by 20 to 30% if we all work hard at recycling.
Besides recycling, what else can we do?
The first thing that's most important is for us all to use less stuff in the first place. Because if we don't buy it and we don't throw it away, it isn't going to be garbage and we don't have to worry about recycling it. So the most important thing is to try and use fewer items and items that are more crushable, items that are not going to take up much space in the landfill. You know, the best idea is for us to leave less behind for archaeologists to study.
What would archaeologists learn if there was nothing there to dig up?
They'd learn that we were really responsible people in terms of the environment because we were treating it properly by not leaving our discards behind. And the best way we can tell societies in the future that we were responsible people is by being garbage invisible. No garbage left behind.
This is a landfill, also known as a dump. This is where your garbage goes after the trash truck or garbage collectors picked it up.
Wow, I bet an archaeologist 1,000 years from now will be way excited to find this dump.
Yeah, but right now it just stinks, so let's get out of here.
See you next week on ZiNj-TV.
Oh my gosh, birds!
I think we need the surgical. I can't say that. It's kind of easy when you.
I can't remember. I'm just shy.
Ready?
Almost. But we're not gonna that.
My mouth is going numb.
So the best time mostly to do it is mostly any time.
Hi!
Hey you guys, it's garbage day, and inside this bag is a bunch of trash that a really famous person gave to me.
All right. Well, today we're going to look through this garbage to see if we can find out what him or her is really like. Oh. Here, you can have it. All right, you can have it. I don't want it. Give it back to him. He'll make a free throw on it. You can have it. I don't want it. You keep it. It's stinks. You can have it. Hey, you're the garbage right here.